Welcome to the House at Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Welcome to Raider Nation News today. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday wherever you guys are at. This is the second live, our double header. We are back. We do have a special guest backstage. Again, I don't think anybody that was in the chat earlier would have known who this was. For those that are on IG, you guys would be familiar with him. A huge following. A major contributor to Raider Nation. He does a ton of giveaways, and like I said, a very, very huge following. Let's bring in, without any further ado, the GOAT 209. Let's welcome him
How you doing,
to
man?
the vault. What's up, bro?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This is something that we had been trying to do for like nearly 2 months now. I remember when you sent me the DM, and I'm like, wait, who is this?
Yeah,
Like, I've been on a couple
dude,
of
I'm
lives.
gone
I'm
all
like,
the
oh,
time.
yeah. How's
Yeah,
everything, bro?
it's good, man. I mean, it's just been busy. It's been a lot of fun this year. This is the first year that my stuff's actually. Well, last year started to catch some tread, and this year it's just been blowing up. It's just wild because I'm not affiliated with anybody. I'm not associated with anybody. I'm just a regular dude out there going to games and having fun. I've been doing the same stuff that I've been doing since I was a kid. So now people recognize me. So can't complain about the free tacos and beer and stuff. So nobody's nobody's getting mad about that.
Now you're in the vault, so there's going to be a hell of a lot more people, already more than the 20 plus thousand you have, that are going to know you, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to being at the tailgates. Like, I did see you at the Indy game, and it's definitely a heartbreaking loss. And now we're
It
where
was
we're at
rough.
now. We're 7-9. We go into our season finale against our AFC West rival, the Denver Broncos. What are your thoughts about this season, and what are you thinking about looking forward as well?
That's the thing. Every year we always say, I've been saying, hey, it's next year. Let's think about next year. We've been saying that for the past 20 years,
Right.
besides one blip where we made the playoffs in 16. So the main thing, I think if Pierce would have took over sooner, I think we would have been a playoff team. 100%. I think we would have won a few more games that McDaniels threw away. Pierce did have some questionable play calling, but you can see his coaching is already better than McDaniels
Right.
right off the bat. So there's that. I also hope that Davis puts his ego down and doesn't make the same mistake he did with Rich. That's kind of consistent. Like, unless you're going to land somebody like Harbaugh, bring Antonio Pierce back. He's more than earned that job. He's done exceptionally well for a first year coach. Especially our defense. Our defense is playing lights out. It's just insane to have a defense like this. We've never had this before. So I think next year going into the draft, I'm looking forward to our defense tightening up. I'm looking forward to Jones being a full-time starter and to see what he's going to do with Wilson, because we're starting to see Wilson and Kuntz actually come about, things we didn't see with McDaniels.
What did you think of? Did you happen to catch the press conference from this afternoon with Devontae Adams and him endorsing Antonio Pierce's head coach?
Yeah, I saw that. So, but the thing is, the players did the same thing with Rich. It's out of their hands. They can say what they want. I watched that today. It popped up. I follow him, so I'm like, oh my god, there's a press conference today. I was at home sick, so I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. But we saw the same thing with Rich. Players backed him up. He was a player coach. They wanted him, and they went out and got McDaniels because it was a big name.
Right.
So that's what I'm afraid of in Vegas, that we might go after some big names that necessarily might not win us anything. I think he's probably learned his lesson, forking over the $100+ million he's had the past 5 years. His coach is not the coach. So, I really hope they do bring him back. I think he's more than earned the job. There was some really stupid losses because he's a new coach, but there were some really exceptional wins. We won the games that we're mostly supposed to win, and we beat the Chiefs. Something no other coach did besides Gruden once. So, I mean, you can't. That game got him the job for me. And once I saw that game, the way the defense played, the way they pissed off Mahomes, how they rattled his cage, I'm like, this is the man that needs to coach this team, because you can get offensive minds. You can't teach that defensive mindset like that as a head coach. Like, that's just there as a coach and a former player.
I just think, like, having that experience at the pro level as a former defensive player, especially being a linebacker, it's always like the leader of the defense. I feel like just his energy and what he's brought since he's been made the interim head coach, like, it just makes sense. Like, give this guy a 2-3 year extension. Let Champ Kelly be the GM, and we know that it's not going to be a back and forth. Like, I want this guy. No, I want that guy. Like, I think that they both can be of the conscious mind and make conscious football decisions moving forward for this organization. And we're only a few pieces away. And of course,
Yep.
we do need a quarterback. Like I've seen,
Yeah.
I've seen the stories. I've seen your shorts. And look, I get it, but at the same time, like when it comes to O'Connell, O'Connell was never developed the way he should have been developed when he was drafted. McDaniels did not develop this kid, and it wasn't until AP took over. It was like, no, this is our quarterback. And I get
Yeah.
like, look, fourth round pick. He's gonna be here under that rookie contract. He's only making like a little over $1 million a year. Like, cool. Like realistically, we saw what we've seen out of him. I do believe that realistically that Aiden O'Connell is a backup, and we do need to move forward and look at a quarterback in this upcoming draft. What do you think?
Oh yeah, quarterback 100%. And so what I told people, so I love college football too. That's like my second passion. So I grew up watching Nebraska and Scott Frost, if you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I die hard Nebraska fan growing up. And they are horrible now, but I still watch Big 10, Big 12, whatever you want to call it now, football. So I watch Aiden O'Connell in college. And I told people that they're like, why would you watch Purdue games? I'm like, because that's where he plays. That's the conference he plays in. That's what I
Right.
watch. And so 3 or 4 games last year, and then I saw him live once. And I told people, I made a joke post. I put him on the front of the Madden cover. I'm like, he's going to be our starting quarterback. He's going to beat out Jimmy sooner or later. And I said that's not necessarily a good thing. And so I'm talking about it tomorrow. But I posted that back in July. I was like, he's a statue. He's fast up and down the field. He can't move left or right, and he has a cannon at times. But once he gets hit, that's it. And I've been saying that from day one. And I'm like, he was never drafted to be our starter. He's a fourth round pick. He's 25 years old. He has an arm as a pocket passer, but you see his presence isn't there. So that's what we need as a quarterback. I personally want us to draft in the first round. I'm a numbers guy, so I base that decision off talent, drafting in the first round. If somebody's actually first round talent, they have more potential. So I think Daniels would be a really good fit for us opening up our offense because they wouldn't be able to stack the box anymore. Great arm, explosive, fast, and he can run for 600-700 yards a year. So that's who I personally want. We may have to trade up to this point because we beat Denver. I think we're going to be slotted at the 12th pick, and he's
Yeah.
not going to be there. So that's kind of who I want. But chances are, if he's not there and we don't trade up, I see us drafting defense in the first round and then going after Penix in the second.
See, like a lot of people, especially those that have been in the chat, especially earlier this afternoon, we were having this conversation, and a lot of people now, like I guess because of the performance on Monday night, a lot of people are like Michael Penix. Now, I have talked about him. For me, I have like a 1A, 1B. I still believe that Bo Nix could be that guy as well. Like I watched Bo Nix the previous 2 years while he was in Oregon. I really didn't get the chance to watch him that much this season. But like I love this kid's arm. I loved what he was doing on the field with that offense. And I was just like, even last year before he said that he was returning to school, I'm like, Bo Nix is going to be our guy. Penix, I have my two major concerns is the knee injuries, and
Yeah.
also he's a lefty. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we are
There's not many of
definitely
those left anymore.
no, and we're definitely gonna have to look for an elite top right tackle. Like, and those are very hard to come by. Like, we
Yeah.
need that guy that's gonna be able to protect Michael Penix's blind side. And it's like, who would we get there? Like, that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I'm just those are realistically my two guys. I think if I were to go to option two, then yeah, it would be Jaden Daniels. I would love to go the route of a quarterback in the first round. You have other people out there now that are like, oh, what about JJ McCarthy? And I'm like, JJ McCarthy realistically is he's a second round.
Yep.
He's a
Yep.
second round pick. So like I would much rather go the route of getting a quarterback in the first round, a corner or a D tackle in the second. If I can't get my D tackle, like if I go the route of a corner in the second round, third round, I'm going a D tackle, and I want to get Devondre Sweat out of Texas. Like this guy, I've been high on. I'm a huge Texas fan. I've watched him throughout his career there. That's a big body that will welcome on double teams, and it'll open up the possibilities for guys like Tyree Wilson. It will set the edge for both Max and Kuntz. Like I'm here for it, but we still
Yeah.
got a couple of months before that draft, so we shall see.
Sweat Sweat slotted to be what, late second, isn't he? Or early third?
Late second, early third, yeah. And he's the
Yeah. I
second
told you
best.
I watch a lot of college football.
He's the second best
I
defensive
love-
tackle. He's the second
yeah.
best defensive
There's
tackle in this draft.
there's not very many. That's the problem. So I think people might reach for those types of players. That's the issue I have. The only one that's really first round is Newton. And I kind of reviewed him. He's from a small school. It's a little bit of a reach, but like if he's at 12 to 15, somebody's gonna nab him. It just depends what we want to do because Kuntz kind of came to his own. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Kuntz has all of his sacks under Pierce,
Yep.
every single one.
Yep.
Like he has 8 sacks in the past 8 games. Like he just went off. Like it's coaching, and you see that Wilson is probably not good at setting the edge. He's not good at rushing the passer from outside. He's not setting the edge good for rushing plays around his corner. He's getting beat to the ends. So it's like, all right, he's about 275. Like put some weight on him and throw him at D tackle, and he'll push. He was throwing guards around because he's physically just a monster. He's just not quick off the ball.
And that was the thing. When he was drafted, I had said, like, there's a good chance that you'll see him probably playing on the interior a little bit more than the edge. But at the same time, everybody right away, he's a bust. He's this, he's that. Like, the dude didn't touch the field until the very last week of the preseason. And I'm sitting there, like, just looking at the chat, and I'm just like, guys, calm down. Like, he definitely needs to develop. You have to give it time. And at the same time, if you look at offense, defense, everything was handcuffed by McDaniels. We clearly saw that, especially with the defense. The top came off when they were gone. You started seeing Max, and he's still doing it now because I was watching the game against Indy. Like, Max, all of a sudden, he's not just playing the edge, playing the role of an edge and containing the outside. You have him finally, like, he's doing stunts. He's coming around and going straight down the A gap, and I'm like, where the fuck was this before? Like,
and McDaniels, you can tell McDaniels just completely effed up coaching these players, and it was his way, and that was the end of the story. His ego got in the way, and he wasn't. You always hear people saying when Max Crosby came out and said we're not stepping on eggshells anymore. That was probably the most hateful thing you've ever heard Max Crosby say, because he doesn't say hateful things, but he said I don't have to walk on eggshells anymore, and you know damn well who he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so once you saw that, like the defense, like, all right, we can be ourselves. We're going to be mean. We're going to be nasty. We're going to be fast. And they're out there trying to take people's heads off, which you didn't see. You didn't see that with McDaniels. You saw flashes and glimpses of it, but there was games where the defense was completely non-existent. The pass rush was non-existent because they ran like a 4-3 or a nickel and said, just run straight forward. And maybe we'll blitz somebody once in a while, and it was so like just vanilla offense and defense.
You know what's crazy
you
is
can tell it was McDaniels.
What's crazy is, and what was this recent game against the Chiefs? You had Patrick Mahomes that was pressured about 22 times. Our defense only blitzed once in that win. And everybody's like, wait, is that accurate? I'm like, yeah, it's 1,000% accurate. And they're like, what the, like, we blitzed once and we did all that? Yeah. Things have completely changed. And I really hope that these guys are here for that.
Oh, yeah. I was reading a story and they were joking about the one blitz. They're like, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. He just kind of came off the edge. I was like, yeah. I was like, but that shows you we're getting pressure with the same 4 guys that we had in week 1, where Max Crosby's the only dude getting sacks.
Right.
And, now our defense is, it's hovering around top like 8 to 10 now. We give up a lot of yards, but we have that bend, don't break. We cause a lot of field goals, and we get a lot of turnovers. And we're winning the position battle with our defense, and our offense is kind of laying the egg. But you're seeing, like, we have one of the nastiest pass rushes in the NFL right now. And it's with people that are late round picks. Nichols isn't really a pass rusher, and none of our defense tackles are. So I think that's one position we're going to improve on. And if we do, our defensive line is going to be absolutely horrendous for people to deal with. Just because of Max and Kuntz on the other side, who's a quick, small defensive lineman. And, he, as I told people, I was like, I kind of feel like we drafted him because he was from Buffalo. That's literally why I think we drafted him. I told people that. I'm like, they're like, oh, look, it's another Mac, another guy that dominated, not as much as Mac did, but in smaller conferences. I'm like, that's why they drafted him. People are like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, he went to the same college as Khalil Mack and like has a lot of the same records as he does.
That's what a lot of people said. That's what a lot of people said, and that's what they were expecting. Like, it's the second coming of Khalil Mack. Like, no, pump the brakes. But we still have him for a whole nother year. And
Yep.
again, like you just said, like what he's done since AP took over, like just imagine if AP is back this coming season, what more, how much more of a problem Kuntz will be on that defensive line.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the defensive line, and I know that this is the end of the season for us, but looking forward and looking into free agency, is there a defensive tackle that you would like to have here during once the new league year starts?
See, I don't even know who free agent defensive tackles are right now,
I'll
to
give
be
you.
honest with
I'll
you.
give
I
you.
haven't
I'll
pulled them.
give you two. I'll give you two off the rip right now. Leonard Williams and Chris Jones.
Oh, Chris Jones, 100%. But what's his price tag?
So
That's the problem.
here's the thing. So he did pretty much not show up until the Chiefs gave him a little bit more money this season.
Yeah.
His market value right now is probably going to be anywhere on an average annual of 25 to 28 million dollars a year.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
We have the cap space this year. That's the thing.
Yes.
So there's two things that depend on it. Like I was telling people, all that dead cap space, the $50 million or whatever the hell it is now. I can't even. I don't even pull up the number anymore. I think it's 60. Like it's just insane.
Right.
Um, from from McDaniels, from Madoc and Gruden, um, we have so much dead cap space, and we're gonna have to eat Jimmy's contract next year. I don't think we're gonna keep him. So we're gonna have like a 15 million cap, dead cap from that 12 to 15, whatever it is. But the thing for me is I don't know what's gonna happen with Jones's contract because he did do things that were detrimental to the team. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to get out of it or not. Because as of last week when I pulled it up, it was still showing the $12 million or whatever it was dead cap space.
Yeah.
So if that's gone, we're gonna have a lot of room because I don't think Jacobs is gonna be back. I think we're going to dump Hunter, and right there, that's another $20+ million in cap space for two players that haven't contributed. If we're being honest, haven't contributed much. And I don't care. You think Jacobs is our best offensive player? He hasn't done shit this year, and he's hurt. And I got so much crap for that. I was like, take the name away, take the player jersey away, and just look at his numbers. Okay, great. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL. I'm like, cool. Tell me the last great running back in the NFL to win a Super Bowl or playoff game, because they don't. $15 million is so much for a guy that has a short lifespan like that. So I don't think it's going to happen unless he does a team friendly deal. I think he'll be, but I think we're going to save some real money on offense, and they're going to throw it at the D. They're going to sign some free agents in defense.
You're breaking my heart right now because I really don't want Jacobs to go. Like Jacobs, going into the draft, like he was my guy. And I had the opportunity to meet him Pro Bowl week. I told him dead to his face. I'm like, dude, like before you came here, I coined you baby beast mode. Like I wanted you here. Like I want you here for your career. And he said he wanted to finish a Raider. And I've talked about numbers with him last season, and I said realistically like a 3 year. I think I said like a 3 year, 42 million with about 26 to 28 mil guaranteed would have done it. But of course, we lived in that world with some idiots at the top in McDaniels and Ziegler, and they decide to just tag him and go through this whole process. Now, his numbers have been solid throughout his career. This year was was definitely a downward year, and he's missed games. Like for his career, he's missed, if I remember correctly now, he's missed, including the season, like 7 games in 5 years he's been in
Yeah,
the league.
which is nothing for running back. That's
Right,
absolutely nothing for running
right.
back.
I would love for him to potentially take a home team discount, and I hope that is the case. Like, look, like tax free, you'll be okay,
Yeah,
my guy. Like,
yeah,
but now
but yeah,
I think it's also going to be a matter of who's a GM, who's a head coach moving forward to see if they are going to be the ones, because I think that they would absolutely love to keep JJ as well.
oh yeah, 100% if the price tag's there,
Yep.
because you have him and Adams and Jacoby Myers as weapons for a rookie quarterback. It doesn't get much better than that. I don't care what you say. You got a number one, you got an awesome number two who could be a starter on a lot of teams, and then you have a top 5 running back. The problem is next year, as we saw with like one of the prime examples was Dalvin Cook. Look what Dalvin Cook did last year versus this year. And if you go back in time, if we look at LT, we look at Bell, we look at Lynch, we look at all these running backs who left to try to get more money. It doesn't work out very well. DeMarco Murray, another one. They don't do as well with their second team. They may get paid more, but they kind of fizzle out because they're at the end of their career. The
No.
running back's life is over at 28. Unless they didn't have very much use, like Moser or something like that. But if he does like the $10 to $12 million deal, by all means keep him, because you're not going to get a better player at the position. Um, if you're going to get rid of him and sign some like a stud on defense, I can understand, but that's the only way I'd really see it. Because Zamir White, like he's had a good few games, but where was he the past 2 years? Doing jack shit. He wasn't very good running the ball. He's averaging like 2 to 3 yards a rush.
Yep.
Like just out of nowhere, he has a 100-yard game. I'm like, oh man, we're running the ball. I'm like, this is going to be bad, because he's shown absolutely no field vision whatsoever for a year and a half. I'm like, and he runs for like 140 yards. I'm like, what the hell was this? I was like, where was this?
Yeah, where did this come
But
from? Because I was one of those that was like, this kid has zero vision. What the hell are we doing? Like, was this truly a waste of a draft pick? But he's kind of turned it around, and like my thing is now, especially what we've seen out of him the last few weeks in Jacob's absence, like I would love to run it back and have just go the route of a two-headed monster. Like, why not? Like, you talked about Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook, like, he signed with the Jets, and I think he should have known signing with the Jets. He also had an option to sign with the Miami Dolphins. It was like they're just waiting for Breece Hall to be at 100% after tearing his ACL. It's like then you're kind of just going to be faded out a little bit, because that is the future featured back of this team. And it's like you waited until the very last week of the season to release this dude. Like, he's not getting a bag. I can tell you that right now. Nobody's going to put that money out for him. And I don't think any running back is going to get, and I've said this before, realistically, Christian McCaffrey is the last of the Mohicans. That's it. Like, no other running back is ever going to see a contract like Christian McCaffrey's ever again. So, the 10 to 12
there's no
at
value.
best, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. And you see these running backs now. If I was Jacobs, I'd be kicking myself in my own ass, because I left $10 million on the table, and he knows that in his head.
No.
So he might be bitter. He might be angry about it. It just depends how you see his contractual negotiations go. And we see people like, oh, F them, they left for money. Like, this is their job. Like, if I get a job offer and they're going to pay me more, and my current job says, hey, we're not going to do that, I'm going to be like, adios.
Exactly.
So you can't hold it against them. Like, this is their job. This is how they make their living. They get one shot at this. And they only got a few years to capitalize. And after that, it is done. The money stops coming in. So I don't have hard feelings for people that leave over big contracts, but it just usually doesn't end well. And we've seen Raiders leave and take big contracts elsewhere and just shit the bed. So it's like, and running backs it's a fickle business at running backs. So you have people, I think, what is it, like 6 of the 7 top running backs don't have contracts next year or something like that. I mean, it's like 8 out of 10. So there's going to be a free for all for running backs, and I think it's going to drive the value down. And the top guys like Eckler, like Jacobs, it's going to piss them off, because they're like, I could have got 10 to 12 prior, and now I'm only going to get like 7 or 8. So I can see that kind of binging and ruining the relationship with the Raiders, and have him moving on to another team. It's like, okay, we'll give you a few million extra because we think you're that missing piece for us. Like, we don't have a top running back, or we want to pair you with a new quarterback, something along those lines. I can see really happening.
I feel like both us and the Giants, at least our front offices, shot themselves in the foot with the decisions that they made. You gave Daniel Jones a contract extension over, instead of franchise tagging Daniel Jones and giving Saquon Barkley an extension, you signed a dude that was injury prone in Jimmy Garoppolo and gave him that buttload of money instead of giving JJ a contract, and kind of see where it went there. I got a few people in the chat that are now asking about Russell Wilson. Give us your thoughts.
God.
Give us your thoughts.
First and foremost, so if we saw one of the few times that Denver was involved in the cap dump with Brock Osweiler, they sent him to the Browns, but the Browns had to give some heavy picks away. They said, hey, we'll absorb this and you get some picks back. We'll take your shitty quarterback, but you're going to give us some picks and we're going to eat that cap space up. Russell Wilson next year, it's what, 37 or 39 million for the next 2 years, each year.
Yeah.
He's not worth it. I don't care what you say. He's not worth $40 million. He is not going to come on our team and make us a contender. Why would you waste the $40 million? You can get almost as equal output drafting a quarterback or getting Justin Fields. And I don't think Justin Fields is that good, but I think he's good enough for our team. I don't think he'll take us very far, but he's good enough. he needs some coaching. I think the Bears kind of ruined him a little bit. It's that return on investment. Like, do you want to spend $40 million on a quarterback that you don't think is going to take you there? It's the same thing with like Aaron Rodgers. Him and Russell Wilson have the same price tag. Who are you going to take? You're going to take Aaron Rodgers every day of the week, even though he's injured. Um, but it's just, yeah, it's too high of a price tag for him unless they eat some of his cap. I think they're just going to walk away from him. Some team's going to, say, hey, you're already getting paid, so we're going to lowball you. I
I,
can see that
I
happening.
feel like
But
he's going to be offered like a league vet minimum at best. And right now,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I think the cap hit for the Broncos, whenever they cut him, I think it's like 84, $85 million.
yeah. So I
Good
pulled
luck
it
with
up
that.
with a trade a couple days ago because I was curious, and I can't remember. I think the first year's 39 for a trade hit,
Right.
and the second year's 37 for the new team. So he's not worth 37 to $39 million. I don't care what you say. He's not the game changer he was in Seattle. He's a little bit older, a little bit slower. You can tell it was more of a system thing because you see how well Geno Smith's doing.
Yep.
It's a plug and play thing with them. So I don't think he's worth it. And being a new system, it's just, and he's fucking weird. Like, he's so weird. Like, I just don't like like he reminds me of a stepdad that's trying to be cool. That's what he reminds me of. Like, he's just, I don't want that guy on my team, man. It's just, and that's always been the Raider way. Let's rent a quarterback. No, draft one. We haven't drafted a first round quarterback. You know how many first round quarterbacks we drafted since the 90s?
I feel like the last one was Jamarcus.
Yeah, and before that,
You want to
do you
tell me?
remember?
No.
Todd
Jesus
Maranovich.
Christ, man.
Those are our two first round quarterbacks in the past 30 plus years. Um, we don't draft them. So, even like our best quarterback in franchise, for me, Stabler's our best quarterback in franchise history. He was a second round pick.
Right.
We don't draft first round quarterbacks, we rent them. So, I think that's something we got to get away from because that doesn't work in the NFL anymore. You can't rent a QB.
Right.
You see the Browns try to do it. You're seeing the Jets try to do it. It doesn't work very well. It's better if you develop them and you get them in on a good team on that rookie deal or that 5th-year contract. So I think that's the route we need to go because Max Crosby's going to get older. Kuntz is going to get older. They're going to all get paid. You need to start to work with these guys while they're young. Right now, we got a nice young core. We got a couple year window. If we get a good quarterback
Right.
and get a couple more pieces, like, we can compete with the Chiefs in our division. We won't compete with them on offense. We have to beat them with defense. So that's the route I want us to go, and I hope to do.
I can't. Like you talking about the Jets and the Browns, like those are those are the destinations for QB purgatory, especially when these quarterbacks get drafted. When these quarterbacks get
Yeah,
drafted, it's like, yo, that's where your career just went to die, my friend. Like, good luck. And now all of a sudden, you want to bring in Aaron Rodgers, gone in 93 seconds. You brought in Deshaun Watson, and Jesus Christ, let's call up Joe Flacco and look at what the fuck he's done for that
yeah.
offense in 5 weeks. I'm like, this is insane.
Their defense is one of the best I've ever seen. That's the difference.
Nah,
Their offense is holding them back. If Watson played to even close to the level, and they had Chubb too, I mean, they're a playoff team and they have a backup running back and a backup quarterback. How often does that happen? I mean, and they literally have the best defense in the NFL, and their defensive stats are higher because their offense can't score that many points here and there. So it's just like, if their defense was full and their offense was full, I think they'd be given like 10 to 12 points a game. I think they're like at 14 right now or something, or
mm-hmm.
like, it's stupid low. And you watch them play, like, they're nasty and they're angry. I'm like, man, I want that defense. That's what I want from our team. I want those people that are going to go out there and just smack people in the mouth. Like, they're scared to play. They're going to be hurt afterwards. Or like you see the Niners, like, what was it? Like, there was like 6 quarterbacks that they dinged up this year because they hit them and they put them on the ground and then they do it repeatedly.
Right.
And you're beat up. By the end of the game, you don't want to play anymore.
Right.
So I want us to go that route. Please don't go Russell Wilson. I think there's going to be a riot if we go Russell Wilson. Like,
Somebody in the chat called him Carlton from the Fresh Prince. I'm done. Done. Out of control.
I mean, that's the vibes he gives. He's like the guy that tries to be cool, but he's not. Like, you just tell he tries hard. Like, I don't know.
That sounds so familiar. That sounds really like. Wait a second. Hold up. Let me check something. I think my Wi-Fi is acting up right now. God. Anybody else in the chat have any questions right now? Like I said, you guys see who it is. Finally, I didn't want to give anything away. And a lot of people pulled up into the chat like, it's the GOAT. Like,
I
yeah,
have a lot of fun.
he's here, guys. He's done some really hot takes over the last, let's see, week and a half with his shorts and his stories. And they've been very interesting and entertaining, by the way. Salute
He'll
to
just his thing like
salute to Graf for real quick. Salute to big bro Graf. He's in the building. Salute, bro. Hope all is well. But yeah, this has been a the videos I've seen the last few weeks, man. You've been going in.
well, the thing is too, like I tell people, I'm critical of my team. I'm a real fan. I go to every game. I
Hmm.
spend thousands of dollars traveling every year, and I'm very critical. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of having my team lose. And I don't know if you ever saw it. You see when TJ and then All in On win interviewed my son. He's like, "Yeah,
Yes.
we suck." Yeah, I was like, that is the Raiders' fault. That's not me. Like that's what you're doing to our children. And I was like, man, dude, I just want us to win so bad, and I am very critical of our team because we pay top dollar to go to these games. They price a lot of people out going to Vegas. I love going there. I have a blast at games. I see, people I've been seeing for the past 10, 15 years. But I'm tired of losing. I am tired of losing. I'm tired of bad decision making. This is the first year I've actually have respect for Mark Davis because he grew a pair and was like, I'm going to step away and let people do their job. And so it's just I'm very honest when it comes to players. I say I call it the Raider goggles. You put your Raider goggles on. We fall in love with mediocre players because we haven't had anything better. So move the shield and look at it analytically from a stand back point. Compare it to the other NFL players. How do they stack up? Well, they don't. We don't need them. Get somebody better. Draft somebody better. Develop somebody better. But that all starts in the front office, which we just haven't had. So it's just, I just want to win. That's it. I just want to win.
I think we all do. I think we all do. Like
Yeah.
I've been out there now. This is gonna make, I think, the eighth time in less than 2 years. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to the game. Not as excited as I would have been had we won this past Sunday, but I'm still excited for
Yeah.
it just because the energy being around the nation, like the tailgates and everything. Like I always say it, the Raider Nation is truly, like, for me, you guys are my family, and I always say it, and you'll hear it from other people, and you probably take it like, yeah, whatever, but like those that have met me out there, they know, like, he really is about the nation. Like he's always on the front lines. He's always out here for us, doing for us. Like, and I always say it doesn't happen. The growth of this doesn't happen without each and every single one of y'all. And I love y'all to death. Shout out to Jersey Raider on the 499. Do you think if we get Harbaugh, the JJ McCarthy is our new quarterback?
Um, Probably not. I think Harbaugh's going to evaluate talent as it should be, and he's not going to pick his hometown kid. Um, he. I still remember when he threw Sherman under the bus and was like, "I wouldn't draft him." He was his coach, and so Harbaugh rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
He's very honest. He's brutal. So anybody with an ego can't handle Harbaugh. So I think he will evaluate talent accordingly. I don't think he'll draft his own guys because he didn't really do that when he was with the Niners either.
Yeah.
He drafted the best player available.
Right.
He didn't draft people from Stanford that he coached and things like that. So I think he will actually draft the appropriate players if he does that. But the thing is, if we hire Harbaugh, he's going to clear house. And what do we do with Pierce? It's going to
See, that's why I'm like, look, we want Pierce. I think everybody in this chat can say the same thing. They want Pierce. Like I said it during the press. I replayed the presser from earlier this afternoon when I did the earlier live. Like every time I hear him talk, I really want to run through a wall for this dude. Like,
yeah.
And I'm just like, this is that energy that we've been missing for a very long time. Like this is the Raider way. Like this is that old school, knock your teeth down your throat type of attitude that we've been missing, that we've been needing, that is what being a Raider is all about. Like it's here again. We need to keep it here for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. And the thing is, you can't. you can be critical of him because he's a head coach, but you can't be too critical because he's a new head coach. McDaniels is making the same mistakes or worse with Super Bowl experience. That's the difference. And you see that our offense is hit or miss. It's all over the place. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. Some days our pass game's great, sometimes our pass game's crap, sometimes our run game's great. Like there is no consistency to our offense whatsoever. We need a new quarterback. We need a new offensive coordinator. We need new line coaches. Everything. The offense needs to be gutted as far as coordinators go because they're not doing their job. I think that's going to be a real issue if we don't because Antonio Pierce is not an offensive minded coach.
No.
He's a defensive coach.
Hmm.
He needs offensive mind around him to help the Raiders win. And if we don't get it, we're not going to win. He needs somebody that has experience. Like I would even be okay with hiring like an older coach that was fired or something along those lines. That'd be like an executive assistant to him, somebody to help him know the ropes about game management, when to challenge stuff, things that aren't inherent that you know about the game.
Yeah.
And you've seen that happen where you have people that are like, I'm a special coordinator, I'm a special assistant head coach, things like that. I
Right.
think that would be really beneficial for them to go out and find somebody that wants to sit in a booth and just like, I don't want to run a team, but I'll help you do it.
There were some
Because
names that were
I
thrown
think,
around. There were some names that were thrown around today in the chat. Like I had somebody in regards to the offensive coordinator, and I was kind of like stunned when I got it. I actually got like three different names. One person he's familiar with, Adam Gase. I
yeah,
had another person bring up Byron Leftwich, and that was the first time I've seen that name remotely as a suggestion. And then somebody said Kellen Moore, and I'm like, wait a second. I thought Kellen Moore was slated to be the successor to Staley, but clearly that's not happening because Harbaugh's name is being rumored with them,
yeah.
and Belichick's name is being rumored with them. But if out of those three guys, like, what would you think of having one of those three guys as the next OC?
So Leftwich and Moore are more kind of quarterback gurus.
Hmm.
I would take Leftwich. I think it's been a while. Where's he at now?
I'm,
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember. I'm gonna Google that because I don't remember. But I remember he was with the Buccaneers and the Jets for a while, right?
he was. I remember when he was with the Bucks.
Yeah, as offensive coordinator. I don't know where he's at right now,
I
but I
don't think
remember
he.
him
I don't
doing
think he
fairly
is
well.
right now. Actually,
No, he got fired from Buccaneers. Who's Buccaneers coordinator? Tom Brady.
and he's
I
been
didn't know
gone
that.
since then. Wow.
2022.
So
Yeah,
last
he was
year.
the
So it's
Bucks
kind of he's been
coordinator.
out for like a year.
Yeah,
Um.
and that's not too bad. Same thing with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is one of those guys that had the mind for the game, just didn't have the talent to back it up.
Mhm.
So, he was okay. I mean, he not as a quarterback, but I mean, as a college quarterback, he was decent enough. But you can tell he read the game well, and his offenses usually did pretty well. So, Kellen Moore's probably more qualified. But it just depends who we're going to get. Are they gonna try to move on from our coordinator that we have there as interim now?
Yes,
Um,
I think they
like
should.
they
He's
have to, yeah.
like
Like
if you look at his track record, he has served as an offensive assistant and then a quarterbacks coach. He's not an offensive coordinator. There's other people in the
no,
chat now that are throwing out these other names: Marvin Lewis, Tom Coughlin. Like, yes, he has a relationship with these guys as well. Hugh Jackson. I don't know if we're bringing. I'm not bringing him back. I'm sorry.
no, no, please don't. But yeah, I think Kellen Moore is probably the most qualified one because you see the Chargers offense. Like they're killer. They're explosive, they're killer, they're dynamic. It's their defense and their head coaching that f's them over every year. It's not their offense, and you see what Herbert can do as well and the way he's coached up, and his numbers are insane when he's healthy. So the other part is look at the wide receivers they drafted too. Like look at their offense that they drafted. They're always leaps and bounds. They're the only team that compete offensively with the Chiefs in our division. And so I think Kellen Moore is probably the more qualified one, but it's like, are they going to let him go? And is he going to take a head coaching job? That's the other part because I think he's done his part to where he might get it. He's with the Dallas Cowboys for years with Dak Prescott, and everybody thought he was going to be the head coach of the Cowboys, and it never
Mm-hmm.
formulated. So there might be something there where it's like, hey, all the boys have interviewed him. He didn't interview well. Maybe a coordinator is something he has to do because was a guy like 34, 33. I mean, he's super young because he started coaching when he was like in his 20s. I remember
Yeah.
that.
I think that
But
Carolina. I think Carolina might be an option because Carolina will just draft and hire anything. So why the hell not?
I
throwing
can't.
cups of
They got.
alcohol at fans and shit.
Oh my
Like I think
god.
anything's possible.
How how do you get rid of DJ Moore and McCaffrey? Like how? Just like, nah, we're good. We don't want them. And so you got rid of the best running back in the NFL, the best dual threat running back, period. And probably that's going to be in history by the time his career is over. And you got rid of Chicago's number one that has the highest catch percentage and yard percentage for any team. That's what you got rid of on your offense, and you wonder why your quarterback's having issues. I don't think Kellen Moore's going to take that job because that's a job you're going to be there for 2.5 years and get fired. There's no way you're turning that team around. It's just not going to happen. Um, the Raiders job, I think to a lot of people is going to be appealing, the offense coordinator job, because they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to be able to get my guy. I'm going to be able to have input on my draft. I'm going to be able to draft a lineman. I'm going to be able to draft a quarterback because that's our need. And I have Devontae Adams and possibly Josh Jacobs. That job to me is very appealing. And I think we're going to get somebody that's probably overqualified because of it. That's kind of next step is going to be a head coach that we're going to lose in a few years. And I think it'll be beneficial to our team. Really, really beneficial.
Do you think if Pierce and Kelly are back, do you think that Patrick Graham is back? Because a lot of people are talking about his press conference from yesterday, and people are already worried, and they're like, this just looked like he's not coming back. Do you think he's going to become a head coach somewhere?
Um, so this is the thing. I wasn't all in on Patrick Graham. Like half the year, I'm like, this guy needs to be fucking fired.
Mhm.
So throughout his career, he's had mediocre defenses. This is the first time he's ever had a top 10 defense, period.
Right.
His defense was usually ranked like 25, 28, 30th.
Mhm.
I was like, he's not a good defensive coordinator. I don't know why everybody's like, oh my God, look at him. But I think it's more or less. And if you look at his defense without Pierce, it was suspect. You look at with Pierce, completely different. So um, he might get offered a head coaching job, but I think it's a little too early for that. I think if he has another year under his belt with a top 10 D and we're competing for playoffs, he'll get a head coaching job. But I don't think it's going to happen next year. And I think he'll be back. That's one of McDaniel's hires, but he'll probably be back. I know. I got in trouble for the pinata, by the way. Oh God.
Why?
So I got a couple calls from some people, and then some people that worked in the organization. They're like, yeah, they were trying to find you in the parking lot for inciting violence. And I was like, you got to be shitting me, right? And so a couple of the security guards, and then one of the heads of security at the stadium follows me. So he sees all the dumb shit I do all the time. So like he'll ask me like, hey, you're not gonna do that inside here, are you? I'm like, no. He's like, okay, good. And then he'll just like leave me alone. But yeah, they said they were trying to figure out who it was. And I'm like, because I left right after that to go inside. And so I guess somebody told me they sent security out there and were looking for me or who did the pinata because they thought it was being violent. It got back to them almost immediately because it was all over online. So, and they're like, did they call you? I'm like, no, but I was like, nobody got a hold of me. Nobody did anything. And I just heard rumors that security was sent out there. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Oh my God. That's insane.
But yeah, I was like, come on. I was like, that guy. And then he gets fired. So I'm like, all right, I'm clear now. So we're good.
Somebody, where is it? Because somebody asked in the chat. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had asked. Oh, shout out to Wayne Kerr. Have you gotten a reply back after your call out for a conversation or
Wi-Fi
debate?
Willie?
Have you gotten a reply yet?
No. So I didn't even know who he was until this year. Never met the guy. I was just like, so this is the thing. Like, I have an older brother, and my older brother will tell me just like, leave Josh alone. If he has free time and he doesn't like you, he's just going to be relentless and ruin your day. And my job's very flexible. If I'm at home, I'm just sitting there making memes. And literally, I was like, I have 5 hours on a plane. The first time I ever saw his shit, I'm like, I have 5 hours. I was flying, I think, to Miami. And I was like, I have 5 hours just to make memes of this guy. And that's all I did. I made like 20 memes and I just kept posting them and tagging them. So I'm blocked now. And now people kept tagging I didn't know he had a wife. So when I said the whole like, who would fuck this guy? I had no idea he was married.
Oh God.
So he's like his wife. So people started tagging his wife too.
Wow.
But no, he blocked me on everything. So I've hopped on his podcast before and I tried leaving comments and I tried sending him money to, post my comment up top. And he wouldn't take it. So for a fact, I tried giving him $500 to post my comments, like, why do you ride cars nuts? And he wouldn't take the money from me. when I was on his podcast.
Wow.
But yeah, but no, no. And the thing is, like, I have enough following. I have enough people that would throw money in. I could raise thousands of dollars for charity without even trying. And yeah, he's not going to come out of his hole. There's no way because he, as much as you like Carr and everything, the numbers are against you. The way he's playing this year is against you, and more likely than not, you would look somewhat stupid in the law of senses. So he won't do it. There's not a chance in hell.
Who would you say? Because I know you said you've been a guest on a couple other Raider content creator shows. Like, who would you say is like the the content creators that like you frequently watch, or guys that like you really enjoy watching or entertained by, like with what they bring to the table, especially when it comes to like the knowledge of the game and Raiders football as a whole?
So one of my favorites, I love Joe Morley. I run into him every game. Super nice to my kids. I'm always BSing with him all the time. His stuff's very informative. To me, like I know a lot of things I say sometimes with the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I try to express them in layman's terms because when you get into advanced stats and shit, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's just boring. But I love Joe. Obviously TJ Simone Raider, like him and Fitz are freaking awesome. Like what they're doing in Vegas is something we've never had.
Right.
And half the time they're the ones videoing me when I'm out there doing dumb shit. and so, and so, like I went up to Fitz at the beginning of the year and I was like, hey, so like 3 days after I had a full rotator cuff repair. I'm high as a kite. I'm on Oxy. I'm in the tailgate, right? And I have a pocket full of I love penis stickers to put on the Niner fans. And I was like, hey, I need some help. I only have one arm. I was like, can you distract them so I can put the I love penis stickers on the back of Niner fans? And I am fucking loaded doing this. And he's filming as they're walking down, and I'm just dying laughing. And these guys are walking up and down tailgates that says I love penis on their backs. Oh and so yeah, most of the time, yeah, Fitz is usually filming this stuff or like, oh, you know, getting it. I was like, DM it to me so I have it, or he'll repost it for me. And then Baker and John are two of my friends. Kukui. So they're always, filming everything. But it's just Raider Nation as a whole, like it's grown so much since it's moved to Vegas.
Yeah.
You have that family atmosphere finally. Like I was telling people, I gave away a Max Crosby jersey because how they were nice to my kids. Random people bought my kids gifts. People baked them cakes, so Jim baked them a cake, and just follow me. We're walking up and giving my kid money.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't even know you. And so my son like had all this stuff, all these gifts. I'm like, all right, we got to go back to the car because I can't take the stuff in the stadium. And I was like, they're just not going to let me. And I was just like, I was blown away how nice everybody was. So, but yeah, the shout out, I watch Joe stuff pretty much every time. I got a couple DMs from people and they're like people that follow me and, that I actually trust their input. They're like, you should comment on people's stuff more, like get more engaging. He's like, that's the only thing you really don't do because you post your stuff and you bounce. And I was like, no, I feel you. All right, I'll start looking at my comments. I'll start commenting on other people's stuff. And like this year alone, I've probably gotten 7,000 followers because of it. Because I'm just posting and talking and BSing with people. So yeah, that's something I'm trying to work better at because I would usually just put it on schedule and bounce and go to work and not even pay attention to it. And I look down, I'm like, oh shit, there's like 300 comments. I should reply to some.
Everybody everybody says it, like consistency is key. Like this is this is year 3 for me, and definitely a jump. Like we're getting closer to 7,500. You know that we want to get to 10K obviously, but it's like the consistency plays the major key. And like for me, it's like I always tell people, and people like, really, like graphic Raider, if it wasn't for him, realistically, I wouldn't have shot up the way I have in the last couple of years. Like we had one conversation. This is when I first started. He called me at like 2-3 in the morning. He's like, dude, you're genuine. You know your shit. Be consistent. I just locked in as much as I possibly could. And I was working in the hospital for a couple of years until I had moved to Jersey. And I've been in Jersey now for almost 2 years. But like the way that the schedule was, I was able to be on like 11:30 in the morning, 12 noon East time, and I would be on, and people would be here 300 deep in the chat, just chatting away and us having fun. And then it's like once I changed jobs, I was like my schedule was different. I had a normal life, and I'm like, okay, now I have to find an actual window that's going to work for me. I'm like, I guess 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. I guess that's going to be my new window. And then just doing what I do. Like I'll do the press conferences. Everybody loves that. I normally have a phone line open. People can call in and sound off. And that's been one thing that everybody loves. They're like, we really like that you give us this opportunity and give us a platform. I'm like, this is for you guys. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
this was a hell of a lot like subscriber wise, if I was like around Graph's 22,000, like look, I'd be doing a lot more giveaways. I'd probably be doing some really crazy shit and not over the top nation, but like I would be doing some incredibly special giveaways for you guys and you'd be like, "Oh my god." Like I just got to continue to walk the line and do what I'm doing and continue to put on a great show for you guys. And shout out to Samoan, shout out to Fitz. I cannot wait to see you guys this weekend. Uh, Me and Fitz, every time I'm out there, we always link up. And the first thing he asked me the second I'm in front of him, when are you moving out here? Like, bro, they got a whole nother.
Every, everybody's moving to Vegas, man. That's. I have two kids, so I can't go
It's like
anywhere. I'm like,
I got a
shit.
whole nother 20 years to pay this house off before I consider buying property in
Yeah.
Vegas, but I'll be out there at some point. Shout out to Richard.
No.
Hammer is our tribal chief. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. And shout out to Gene
Yeah.
Walker on becoming a new subscriber as well.
No, and so like with me, I took approach to it. I was like, I'm very, I tell people I'm very blessed. Like, because people think sometimes I'm full of shit, like the stuff I give away.
Yeah.
I make money off ads. I make money off sponsorships. Every dollar I get from my subs goes back to people. And I joke, I'm like, there's two reasons. One, I don't want the money. Two, I have an ex-wife, so I don't want her to have the money either. So I'm just gonna give it away. So, and I'm real with it. And I'm like, I don't want this to be a job. I want to have fun with it. I want to enjoy myself. I want to do things that other people can't do and bless them. And I remember one thing I would say a year or two ago. I remember reading on graphics page when I started following him, and same shit stuck with me. He said it matters what you do your content in the off season. And I was like, you know what? I got to stay busy in the off season. I'm going to go to events. I'm going to go to signings. I'm going to go to the drafts. I'm going to go out of my way to find things that are Raider related, Raider parties, the bars. Just when they were having random get togethers for the booster clubs, I would go. That's things I never did before. I'm like, oh, the summer I'm off. I'm going to relax. And, you just record them, chop it up with people, make connections and things like that for the
Yep.
season. And so that is the thing with consistency. So I'm excited for this off season. I'm like, man, I'm going to be able to do so much stuff. I'm going to be able to go, I got invites to booster clubs and out of state and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Come to the
And
East
I'm
Coast,
really
bro.
looking forward to
Come to New
it.
York.
Yeah.
Come to New
I've been there
Jersey.
twice already this year.
We had the Jersey Shore Raider Booster Club down in beautiful Belmar on the Jersey Shore, and
Yeah.
then we also have Peter Dillon's in Manhattan. I took Graf and wasted there last year. The Texans game, Graf came out to the East Coast, and we hung out there and watched the game, and it was a great time. Shout out to where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Shout out to DJ Bun, and I can add Hammer is a great game play-by-play game caller. I appreciate you, bro. Like football has been my life since I was a little kid, and I was thinking about this on the drive home this afternoon. Like I was focused on so many other things before I got into this, and
Yeah.
realistically, this has become my life after football. Granted, like I stopped playing ball. I think we're going on 8 years now. 2016, I had stopped playing, but like this truly has been my life after football, and I absolutely love doing this. And now that we're talking about giveaways, um, those in the chat, mark this down on your calendar right now. January 27th. For those that I know, a lot of you guys in here aren't really big wrestling fans, but for me and some of these guys, including Graf, Big Mike, like WWE, we've been watching since we were little kids. The Royal Rumble is January 27th. January 27th, and Graf said it the other day. It's like his favorite event of the year, and it's always been mine. January 27th is a Royal Rumble. It's the day before my birthday. We are going to do a watch party. Big Mike has already asked me about it. We're going to do a watch party for the 2024 Royal Rumble. And I think we're going to do a giveaway, a Woodson whiskey giveaway during that watch party. So again, mark it down in your calendar. Something for you guys. It's been a while since I've done the giveaways. We used to do the merch and stuff. We got to get more members. We got to get more members for the channel. The link is pinned to the top. We will start doing some more giveaways. Again, if I was leaps and bounds beyond where I'm at right now, I would have considered selling those tickets, or not selling, I'm sorry. I would have given away those tickets for this weekend's game if that subscriber count was a hell of a lot different. I'm just putting it out there right now. Um, let them know where
I
they
said the
can.
same thing.
I know you were throwing stuff up before. I guess it was a story you put up before we came on. You
Yeah.
have some giveaways that you're going to be doing soon.
Yeah.
What do you got in store?
So on my Instagram, like I tell people, all my subscriptions, no bullshit, 100% of the money for subs goes back to people. What I do is I basically see how much money I have, how much stuff's going to be to ship, and I give away autographs. I literally have a stack of jerseys. So if you've never watched any of my stuff, scroll down a little bit. I'll do a couple tours of my house a little bit to show you. I've been collecting sports memorabilia since I was like 6 years old. Anything and everything you can imagine, I have. Um, every Hall of Famer, every jersey, game use. I mean, you name it, I have it. My house looks like a Dave and Buster's. So, and I had a lot of duplicates. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to start to give some of the stuff away. And I got the idea from MC Raider. He's like, no, do subs on your page. And then Fitz was the one that told me to monetize it because I never did that. And he's like, no, monetize it, do subscriptions, give away the stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give it all away. I was like, that's it. So if you go to my page, hit the subscribe button. What I do is basically I see how much money I bring, and that amount goes back away in raffles. So I just did a Tim Brown helmet yesterday. The week before that, I did a Max Crosby jersey, and I did something else. So like, I have, I'm trying to get a little bit more subscribers. So I have actually a team issued Jacobs jersey that's autographed by him, not game used. They gave it to him in the game, and he sat on the sideline. So, but I was like, it's in my closet, and it's just sitting there, and I'm like, you know what, this would be a great giveaway. So, and where I sit in the Vegas Stadium, I sit in the very front row in the tunnels. So I get tons of autographs. I don't know how many people I've hooked up with Max Crosby autographs this year for their kids. Same thing. If you look at my page, you see all the game use stuff my child gets. So he runs around in the house with Max Crosby's gloves all the time and thinks he's a football player. And so,
Love it. Love it.
He's only 7. So these gloves are like that, but like, so all that stuff. And, if he does get items signed for me, what I do too is if I do sell items, you will see it on my page. It is cheaper than everywhere else, period. Because I give the money to my kid. So if my son gets autographs, I say, hey, the jersey was, say it's a rep, the jersey was $50-$60. I'm going to sell the autograph for $120. Hey, I'm going to give you $70. So last year he made like $1,500 just asking for autographs. Yeah, he's 6. So I'm like, money's yours, man. I put it on a card. I'm like, what do you want to spend? And he usually blows it on stupid Fortnite stuff.
I want to be like him when I grow
up. No, dude, it's so like the last game, you know who 408 Jesse is? The one that sells the bandanas?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Jesse's one of my buddies. And so what happened was it was Jesse's kid's birthday and mine. So Jesse's kid was 8, mine was 7. And I sent him a message. I'm like, bro, come down here, bring your kid. I was like, security knows me. They're not going to fucking bother you. So he brings his kid down. They got Adams, Myers, Crosby, Garoppolo, Bennett, Hall, Illuminor,
Jesus.
all the game used gloves. Like they literally got like 10 players game used gloves just standing there asking for them.
What?
Yeah. And so my son literally has stacks of game used shit. So he has Max Crosby's. So over the past year, I've collected everything. So he has Max Crosby's headpiece, he has a sleeve, and he has both of his gloves now. So he runs around and wears them in the house.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then he has a couple Jimmy G's armbands, and they smell like straight ass. Like, because I haven't washed them. So,
ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the man himself, Mr. Jimmy G Hub.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's pretty fun. So like, if somebody's looking for something, I don't make any guarantees. I say, hey, let me see what I can get. Every year I always have a list like, hey, can you get this signed? Can you get that signed? I'm like, yeah, I'll try. And if I do, I just say, hey, this is, what it's going for market value, and I undercut it. So I try to give back in as many ways as I can because like I said, I'm blessed. I'm lucky to get to do what I do and do it every week. And my kids get to enjoy it. So anything I do, put a smile on their face, I do.
Salute to our resident meathead, Mr. L.A. Rob Cisneros himself. Hammer is great at play-by-play, just terrible at picking a baseball team and what it makes him do. Oh, I can't with you. Yeah, he's really trying to get me. I'm a Met fan from the womb to the tomb.
Oh.
I grew up in New York, so like it's a given. But he is trying to get me to come to the dark side and be a Dodgers fan.
No, don't do that. Nobody likes the Dodgers.
You know what's what's funny though? I told him I respect the hell out of the Dodgers. Look, they originated in Brooklyn. They were the team that gave Jackie Robinson the chance. I respect the organization to an extent. The fact that they got Otani, I was definitely blown away because before he came into the league, I was like, this is a generational talent that I never got to see growing up. I never got to see a guy that can hit and pitch the way he does. And like, so when he became a free agent, I'm like, please come to the Mets. And of course, we see where he signed. He's like, are you ready? Are you coming to the dark side yet? I'm like, no, but I will be at Dodger Stadium at least once in my lifetime, or at least once while he's still under contract. Like it's on my bucket list to go to Dodger Stadium at least once. So we
Yeah.
shall see. Shout out
I
to
mean, those
Frank.
opening game tickets.
Yeah, that I'm gonna have to wait. I'll give it another year or two. Shout out to Frank on the $5 super. If Mark keeps AP, do other players look at that as something they might want to join? And I guess he's referring to free agents. I do think that people are going to want to come here now.
What's
I think this will become a destination for free agents if Antonio Pierce is the head coach moving forward.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just the way he and because the thing is, you see, remember how Tom Brady he talked about it a couple weeks ago in his little TED talk. He was like, the Raider or not the Raider fans, the NFL players today are friends with each other.
Right.
You think these guys don't have chat groups? You guys don't think they talk? They hang out in the off season? He's like, we never did that. I was friends with my teammates. So it's going to get around who you play for and who not to play for. And you're seeing social media being a recruitment. What linebacker or cornerback wouldn't want to play behind Max Crosby? Like
Hmm.
honestly, if they can afford them, why would they want to play there? Like I'm gonna have a top 10 defense in front of me. I'm gonna have one of the best linemen that's gonna go lights out for me. I want to play there, and I got a defensive minded coach. If we can keep Adams and Jacobs happy and get a quarterback, I think our defense is going to be even better next year. If we keep this core and Hobbs and all them, I would see we're going to probably be in the honestly 15 to 17 point range if we do well enough per game. And with that type of defense, you're always going to be a contender.
I really hope that's the case. I want him back. Like I really do.
Yeah.
Let me see. Gene Walker, thank you for becoming a new subscriber. I'm just going through this chat. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. We've been on for an hour and it's almost past my bedtime. I have a lot going. I have a lot going on in the next 36 hours. I still got to pack
Would you
and
fly out?
Friday morning. So
Oh, okay.
it's like I'm going to work early, go get my haircut, pack, and I'm out the door early Friday morning. So yeah, I still got a lot of stuff I need to finish before I head out. But bro, I
Yeah,
appreciate you
it's
coming on. This has been again, I think we talked about this for nearly 2 months and trying to get this to happen. And
every time you ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be at this game, or
yeah,
shit, I leave to LA for this day to go to Vegas.
we'll
I
find it.
travel a lot.
So
Yeah.
hopefully on Sunday, we'll be linking at the tailgate.
Yeah.
We might
Yeah, I'll
have
be
to
at
put
you.
a
So
video together for that too.
I go early, so I have field passes for that game. So I got to go on the field.
You son of a bitch.
So I think I'm only gonna do the tailgate for like an hour or two. My kids are gonna be with me. So I think they're gonna go inside too because they usually hang out at my seats and get autographs and things like that. But I'll be there for a couple hours. But I gotta. Me and Go got sideline passes, so I gotta. Steve, Go Power
Yeah,
Raider.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my best friends. So I got to see what time I got to go in. I'm a little disappointed it's the last game because I'm like, I want to go out there and just get blasted, because it's the last game of the year. But yeah, I gotta see what time. I think I gotta be in by like 11 or something. So I'll have a couple hours at least.
I'm gonna try to get over there, and if not, like I'll just come over to where you're sitting and just pop up and say what's up because
Yeah, man.
I think we're on the opposite side, anyways.
Yeah, and I tell people like, even if I don't know you, you got kids, message me. I'll send you a screenshot on my section. Bring your kids down, get autographs. It's a blast. I don't give a shit. Um, Adults, yeah, I'm gonna be like, but if you got kids, it's their birthday, whatever. Like I've had so many people hit me up this year, and I'm like, hey man, put your kid right in front of me. They're literally standing next to mine and just collecting stuff, and I'm like, cool, have fun, man. Like I said, you got to have fun. You got to get back to the nation any way you can, because it's been this the past couple years has been insane for me. Like the amount of graciousness I got, so I'm like, I got to do stuff for people. So that's
No,
kind of what I'm trying to do.
you and I are on the same page, and we'll definitely be talking a lot more. And anytime you're free and want to come on, you're definitely more than welcome. Like a lot of people in here are loving the energy tonight. They said it's been a great show, and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys, and I know there's a couple of the viewers that are going to be out there this weekend. So I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys. Like I said, I should be at the tailgate for a little bit, and definitely, if you guys spot me, don't hesitate. Come up, say what's up. Yeah. On that note,
Party's
let them
eye
run.
candy, eye candy. Don't forget the party Saturday night at eye candy. Go.
Oh yeah, I'll
that's
I'll
where
I'll,
that's where everybody
I'll
goes.
I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about
It,
that.
it it so the one in so I usually go to all three
Yeah.
if they have them.
Right.
I just bar hop and come back. But I think the past couple times there's only been the one at eye candy, and then Simone's thrown his. So I haven't seen anything else. I don't know if Fitz and Simone are doing theirs. I don't know
I think they are, because they're
yeah.
doing a special giveaway tomorrow. I think they're gonna announce the winner tomorrow night. So I know that they're supposed to be doing their party as well. But me and Fitz talk like pretty much on a daily basis. So I'll probably pull up to that as well. And then of course, like tailgate, I'll be chilling with them and having some fun for a few hours. Let them know, let the viewers know where they can find you if they're under a rock, or they just haven't followed you yet. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, so name's Joshua, obviously. Instagram is right there, the GOAT 209. I should pop up in the feed. You can follow me on Instagram. I just started doing podcasts this year. So I actually do a podcast with Baker Raiderette and Kakui John. So that's links in my bio too. We just started that about 4 or 5 weeks ago. We have like 400 or 500 subscribers already, so that's pretty cool. A lot of us, all three of us have a lot of Instagram reach. So we're like one day like, hey, let's do a podcast. It'll be fun. So it's like tuning things in. So you can find me on both of those. Subscribe, like my stuff, share it. If you guys have any questions about where to go to the games, where to get tickets, like I'm the guy. I know so many people now. Like if you have questions about something, feel free to ask me. I try to respond to all my messages. I get a shit ton. Sometimes they go to spam. So I check my spam folder every day. So yeah, it's don't send emojis, please. I hate that because I go through and delete like 300 messages all at once every time. Yeah, just like my stuff. Hit me up if you have any questions. Where the party's at, where to go to the stadium, things like that. By all means, I'm there every week, so I'm here to help, man.
Josh, thanks so much for joining, bro. Nation, if you haven't already, do me these 3 quick things on the way out. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. In the house at Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Raider Nation news today. Continue to stay safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. COVID is back and on the rise. Remember to wash your hands and your asses. And as always, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. Till next time, y'all. Of course, on my New York shit. Peace, love, and positivity. We outro.
Yeah.